recording. I move to start the meeting.
All right. I'll begin by requesting a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
This is Miss Rose. I make a motion to approve tonight's agenda for tonight.
I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. The agenda is approved as presented. We were emailed the minutes from the January meeting earlier today. I would like to request a motion to approve the January meeting minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. All right, the minutes are approved. All right, the next item on our agenda is the principal update. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Ms. Porter.
Okay. May I share the screen as far as budget at this time?
Yes, ma'am. You should have the right to be able to do so.
All right.
And if everybody else would go ahead and turn their cameras off while she's presenting and talking.
Ms. Rose, if you would let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Presenter mode.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so thank you all for joining us this evening for a School Governance Council budget recommendation and approval meeting. Ms. Rose, I'm going to need your support and let me know when the slides advance. I'm not seeing that.
Yes, ma'am.
Did it advance?
No, it's still on the first one.
Advance?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, so we're going to go over the budget this evening. Our process for Fulton County Schools school governance is for the budget to be shared with the budget committee. So we met with those team members a week ago today, so last Wednesday, and then I'm going to share what we discussed, and then in the PowerPoint itself will be links where you will be able to visit and view a few documents. Where the context is aligned to the strategic priorities with outcomes and initiatives, our allocations and expenditures, and then we can discuss charter dollars and Title I funds. Priorities are, did the slide advance?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. There's a link there to a document for you to review, and the document will only be available for 24 hours as it has to be approved through Fulton County Budgeting Department. Our priorities, we have big rocks for Fulton County schools aligned with relationships and routines, instruction, Tier 1 instruction and interventions. So our priority one was to purchase a school improvement coach. We do have a school improvement math coach this school year, and this is the first year Stonewall Tail Elementary School has had instructional coaches, and that will support Tier 1 instruction in math. We've done also for priority 2 to support Tier 1 instruction in reading by purchasing a literacy coach. We also purchased a 0.5 EIP teacher in real time that looks like a EIP teacher, most often a retired employee or retired educator returning to only work half day. And I'll discuss that in a little bit more detail shortly. And then priority 4 was to add a additional professional assistant. So we were only allotted one professional assistant for 10 months, and so we purchased a 10-month professional assistant to tie into relationship and routines. This was our projected enrollment for Stonewall Tell Elementary School for this school year. Currently, as of today, February 23rd, we only have 646 students compared to what was projected. Our numbers are still high are close to projections in grades 3, 4, and 5. With grade 3, it projected at 111, but we have 109. Grade 4 projected at 107. We currently have 109, and grade 5 projected at 103, and we have 104.
Mrs. Porter, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you make your screen on presentation view?
So, okay, thought it was. Presentation view now?
Like, we still see the small slides on the side, so it's hard to read the big slide. So it doesn't seem like it's in presentation view unless that's just the way it looks on Teams. I don't know if somebody else can comment.
No, I think that's the way it shows on her computer when she presents.
Okay.
Let me see if we can look.
Let me see what I can do.
There you go. That's a little bit bigger.
That's better?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was trying not to show these on the side because on my screen it's showing, well, I have 3 monitors, so I have one that's showing that they're not showing on the side.
Well, this is much better.
This is better? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so this is the allocation for next school year, and we have a decrease. So let me go back. So here it was 679 presented for this school year. And so we have a decrease. And so in looking at this, our allotment of teachers changed. So not too much. The numbers are the same. They're consistent from where we are now in 2022 and then school year for next year, 23. What switched was first grade gained a teacher and second grade lost a teacher, but it still balances out to 27. And here, that's, well, that calculation not including pre-K. And then looking at the allocation, so we have, I'm sorry, that is not correct. We have a decrease in students, but we have 27 kindergarten through 5th grade teachers, that's the same. And then our special area teachers are the same here. And what we're dealing with now is the Spanish teacher. So a possibility, if we cannot secure a Spanish teacher for next school year, Fulton has another option where it will be called proximity learning. So it may increase the cost a bit, but proximity learning would be the children entering a space and they will engage with a virtual Spanish teacher, and then a paraprofessional would be in the space to monitor student engagement during that time. So that is our last resort. Our hope is to be able to secure a Spanish teacher. Mr. Lattimore and I right now are in hiring season, so we are looking for a physical teacher, but I just wanted to inform you of that option. We still have 5 special education teachers, 3 interrelated and 2 in the autism unit. We did have a decrease. So this year, as you were able to see on this document, we had 7 early intervention program teachers and we're down to 2.5. What we did was purchase a 0.5 to give us a total of 3. And so that is definitely an impact happening across our district or across our state because of change in legislation for the EIP models. So we can no longer use the reduced class size model. And Fulton County Schools hold harmless this year, which means we didn't lose the teachers for this school year, but it will impact us next school year. And then we have the same amount of teachers, and then the professional assistants is actually the same. The budget that I inherited as a new principal had also purchased 2 professional assistants, and I follow in that same pattern with the approval of the zone superintendent. And then here is a tiny URL for you to visit if you need more information here. So here are some of the purchase positions that I mentioned. The math instructional coach to support math instruction. So our data, we do currently have a math instructional coach, and our data for on-level instruction in math increased from 14% of our students performing on level as assessed in August to 35% performing on level as assessed in December. So we are trending in the right direction. And for literacy instruction, this is our first year with a literacy coach. So we, again, purchased one for next school year. And we see the value there, 36% on level instruction and literacy as of August of 21. And December of 21, that went from 36% to 52% on level in literacy. So we do see the value in both literacy and math coach. We followed the same pattern with purchasing a professional assistant. So the PA2, it connected to relationships and routines because this person not only supports at the front desk and the daily operations with visitors and volunteers in our building, but this person also supports as a liaison to parents and community members. As shared, we lost several EIP teacher positions, so we opted to purchase a 0.5, so we would have a full 3 instead of the 2.5 allotted. Okay, and this slide was included. I believe this QR code goes back to Fulton County Schools SGC. And I did add this slide just to let you know that as of today, the prime where we're entering our budgets is down. So although corrections are made, are still having to be made, we won't be able to make the corrections until tomorrow afternoon after 12 o'clock. So I just want to be transparent to share that Fulton is experiencing difficulties with the prime portal. Are there any questions?
Ms. Porter, I have a question. I know that that's a proposed budget. If could changes be added to that budget?
Yes, so what I've done, our bookkeeper is Ms. Chisholm. So Ms. Chisholm and I are required to attend several district trainings, and we've been attending trainings since every week since February 7th. So this is what mark our 3rd week of trainings. And then our zone superintendent reviewed our school's budget today, and he approved the budget. And so now I have to have your approval and the district approval. So we are still, if you have suggestions for changes this evening, as far as our expenditures, if it's allowable, then I present it to our zone sup, Mr. Maxwell, and then to the district.
Thank you. One more question. So
Sure.
If we are going down from 7 EIP teachers to 3, does that mean teachers will be displaced?
Our goal is, so right now Fulton County Schools is engaged in the transfer process. So with teachers transferring out of our physical building into another Fulton County school, I will then engage in conversations with our current EIP teachers for them to transition into a full self-contained classroom. So we wouldn't lose possible staff, but there is a possibility that they may be displaced out of the EIP position, but still spaced as a general ed teacher, or as vacancies are created with teachers being promoted or moving, then we would possibly move an EIP teacher into a general ed classroom.
Okay, and then one more question.
Sure.
The class sizes, well, does that mean the class sizes will get larger?
Our class sizes for the class sizes are set by the state of Georgia. That has not changed.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, was that the end, Mrs. Porter, for your presentation?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so the next item on our agenda is about the upcoming election process. Attached to the agenda, there's a meeting exercise that will take a few minutes to go through. So based on the end dates for some of the council members, it looks like we have a school employee vacancy for next school year, a community member vacancy, and a parent vacancy. And as of earlier this week or last week, we've had one, I think, declaration or intent to run for two of the three positions. So we do need additional candidates to run for some of those vacancies for next year. So when we look at the first step in the exercise, it just asks about a discussion around successes and challenges that the council experienced with engaging people who are interested in being on the council. And of course, I was not a part of the council last school year. So just wanted to hear from some of the people that were. If you can kind of share what were some of the successes and challenges you all had. Was there anything that anybody found successful to engage people to be a part of SGC?
I can, if you don't mind, I can speak to what I've done this year.
Okay.
Is that okay? So I have placed the SGC elections information in our weekly parent Tiger Talk newsletter, and then that's based on our Stonewall Tail website. And then I remain in constant communication with our district support, Miss Gina Foster and Miss Jan Jackson, for ideas. So I have reached out to a few active volunteers and community members and shared the link directly with them through email. And I would just ask if anyone on the council is aware of anyone, potential parent or community member that would be interested to share. I also put the link directly in the chat so they can learn a little bit more about it through the video. That's election video is posted on the website. And then the candidate declaration form is also on the website. Ms. Rhodes?
Yes, and this is Ms. Rhodes. It is also put on our social media and has been posted also on our class dojo with the information, with the dates, and also the link as well to register. We did get a couple of parents that were interested and they have submitted, or they said they have submitted already.
Okay.
But I know you had a couple more that were still that have not.
Okay. Does anybody have any additional ideas? It sounds like you all have multiple things going out in terms of reaching the community. Are there any additional ideas that the council needs to consider?
I just think if everyone shares the link with potential council members that would engage or have the time to commit, if everyone would share with at least one person, commit to sharing with at least one person today or tomorrow, that will help.
Okay. And then just as a reminder, Mrs. Porter, where will everybody find the link to share?
There's a link right in the chat here.
Okay.
And it's also connected to the front page of fultonschools.org and the Stonewall Tail website.
Thank you. right, the next item on our agenda is a discussion or action item regarding the charter dollars expenditure. Oh, I think there's a hand. Somebody
There's a
has
couple hands up, Dr.
Yeah.
Weldon.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I can't see who they are, but if you all will unmute and share.
I see a hand up by Miss Perriman.
Hey, Ms. Perriman.
While we're on the phone, can you speak to what the SGC duties are, like just briefly, and how much time they would have to give? Maybe if they knew that it was just once a month or once every 2 months, more people would be willing to.
Well, they're the powers and responsibilities of school governance councils. They're definitely an integral component of our Fulton County Schools charter system. So they're responsible for setting and monitoring the strategic direction of Stonewall Tell. And I like that you mentioned that it may not have to be every single month. So what is it, 6 meetings? So we will be able to skip a month or two next school year, but the school, they look at the school's budget, request for flexibility. If we say we don't want 30 to 45 minutes for recess, we need to reduce that to 15 to 20 minutes to allow for more instructional time. That would be a request for flexibility that the SGC manages. And the SGC will also support how we spend the charter funds to support the strategic goals of the school. It has we only have 9 voting members, 3 parents and guardians, 2 teachers, 2 community members, and then 2 school employees that are appointed by the principal. So, and like you said, it's a once a month meeting typically. And the School Governance Council this year has been a tremendous support to me as a new principal and the direction that Stonewall Tell is going.
Also, there's training given to those who are chosen to be on the SGC, so you wouldn't have to feel that you were alone or didn't know what to do. There is training for those positions.
Yes, thank you.
And I'll just reiterate those dates. I'm looking at our Stonewall Tell website. The candidate declaration window is February 2nd to March 2nd. You will get to know the candidates from March 3rd to the 22nd, and the voting window will be March 23rd to March 30th.
Are there any additional questions? Okay. All right, the next item on our agenda is regarding the charter dollars expenditures. From the January minutes, it looked like the school had identified a book to purchase for the One Book, One School initiative that tied into social emotional learning. And Ms. Porter, I guess I'll turn it back to you to discuss where we are with the charter dollars.
Do you see in the minutes, I don't have it before me, what was the last balance from that meeting? Is it in there?
I didn't see a balance. Let me go back and check though.
Okay. So that book has been published, not published, purchased. For One Book, One School, and we are set to do the kickoff for that on March 2nd for Read Across America Day. And our school is actually combining 2 initiatives, Read Across America Day and African American Read In. And so Dr. McNeil, our fabulous Medi, will be heading that up. So thank you for approving the purchase of those books. At last check with Ms. Chisholm, our school bookkeeper, we had about $11,000 remaining in charter funds to spend. And some of the initiatives coming up that align with our strategic goals, Tier 1 instruction, and relationships and routines, we have Exceptional Children's Week approaching. And our instructional support teacher, who's essentially the lead for special education in our school building, she approached me about made it a request for funds for supporting our special education department ahead of Exceptional Children's Week. And luckily we have Ms. George on the call to serve also as an advocate and give us a more insight into funds needed for Exceptional Children's Week and beyond.
Oh, thank you. I would love to speak on that. So good evening, everyone. Exceptional Children Week will be March 7th through the 11th. And some of the things we're planning is, it's about our children. We really want to highlight our scholars. And we're going to have an awards week that week. We are also challenging some of our scholars because they have ability. We're not looking at the disabilities. Some of them will be speaking oratorially on a project that they have been researching. We have some that have actually done the task of tag students of a wax museum person and many other exciting events that are planned that week for our children to show who they are. In addition to that, we also want to heighten the awareness for our students with disabilities. We have chosen several disabilities that we work with within Stonewall Tell to make aware not only to our teachers but the community. So we're needing funding for some of those activities. Our theme is like a taste of SPED. So one day we have where we're going to issue a sweet treat, where we have some sweet facts so that we can help our sweet babies. We are also tying it into our IB, where we're going to have wonder walls and where teachers can put their wonderings up there so that we can kind of collaborate with our colleagues about it. And then we just want to make it very interactive as possible. We're also asking for some special people in our community to come, and we're hoping that their schedules will be available. So I don't want to speak on that too quickly yet, but we wanted to make it a little bit different from what we've ever done at Stonewall Tell. But what we really want to do, three things: heighten awareness, showcase the ability of our children, and then also include it into our IB as we're an IB candidate school. And we do need funding for that because a lot of what we're doing, we're coming out of our pockets.
Thank you, Ms. George. School Governance Council, I've placed in the chat. I'm looking at our purchasing log. Our budget as of February 9th for School Governance Council is $12,805.16. What has been purchased and approved, we discussed to connect with relationships and routines, PBIS. We have discussed purchasing student books for the One Book, One School. And we've purchased those things. And so even with those approved purchases, we have a remaining balance of over $12,000 to support the Exceptional Children's Week for our special education and talented and gifted students. So Ms. George and I are asking for Ms. George about how much what you need, and School Governance Council, once funds are spent, we will be able to provide you with the invoice and a purchasing log.
And Mrs. Abercrombie would have a more rounded figure. The last meeting we spoke at, we were almost up to 1,200.
Okay.
Yeah, but she would have a more rounded figure of everybody's different needs.
Okay. So School Governance Council, as of today, February 23rd, would you approve $1,200 from the $12,000 to be used towards relationships and routines and with special education students and talented and gifted students?
I definitely will be in approval for that.
I approve.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that's a great support, and I would be behind that 1,000%.
Thank you. Dr. Weldon?
Yes, I would
Okay.
approve that purchase.
What, is there a form we need to complete for that today or?
I think we just have to, I think we just need to do a formal, motion to
Right.
make sure that no one is opposed, and then we just have it in the minutes and then add it to that form. So I can do that. So I would like to request a motion to approve the purchase of additional items to support exceptional children.
A motion that we move as a committee to purchase those items for SEC and Exceptional Children's Week. It's Ms. George.
Can I have someone second that motion?
This
I
is Dr.
second.
Love. I second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. Okay. So it has been approved. We have a question from Ms. Mitchell.
Yes, that's it.
Hi, I was just wondering if we could get maybe like a schedule that has what we've approved thus far, and then just like the balance of what's left over.
Okay, so I placed the balance in the chat, and what we'll do is Dr. Weldon can email to the committee what, I guess you're asking what we spent so far?
Right. So just maybe like reconciling what we've spent so far,
Mhm.
and then adding this item to it, and then showing like what we have left over.
Okay,
Just in the
so,
consolidated list, maybe.
okay. Yes, so let me, so if after the $1,200, we will have $11,605.16. I placed that in chat as well. That's after what was approved just now. So what we'll do is Dr. Weldon will provide it to the council, the documents you requested.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, the next item on our agenda is an action item to actually vote on approving the annual budget that Ms. Porter presented during her principal update. Do we have any additional questions regarding the budget and the positions that she proposed before we make a motion to vote to approve the budget as presented?
I do. I'm sorry, I have one more question. For the PA2, do we
Yes.
have two of those or one of those?
We're allotted one
Okay,
and we purchase another. And what the responsibilities of that individual would be to support parent liaison, some of the duties of parent liaison, and also support the other PA that sits at the front desk. Schools will be opening fully next school year. So, right now with COVID, we're allowing a certain amount of visitors in.
Mhm.
So we're expecting a lot more foot traffic next year.
got it. Thank you. That's
You're
good.
welcome.
Thank you.
All right, I would like to request a motion to approve the budget as presented by Mrs. Porter.
I move to approve the budget.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. The budget is approved as presented. right, the next item on our agenda is actually to set next month's agenda. And I guess I need to clarify, Mrs. Porter, typically we're scheduled to meet the first Wednesday. I know this month we pushed it back. So the
Right.
first Wednesday would actually be next Wednesday. So do we need to push that back again so we can have adequate time to make sure the agenda is posted prior to the meeting?
Yes, if possible, could we move to March 16th? Ms. Rhodes, do we have a PTA meeting on March 16th?
No, right now your PTA meeting is scheduled for March the 21st.
Perfect. All right, so Wednesday, March 16th
Okay.
would that be okay for everyone?
That
That's
works for
great.
me.
That's
That's
fine.
great.
Thank
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody have anything that they would like us to include on the agenda for March 16th?
If you would include reviewing, reconciling charter funds, let's go over what we've approved and what we spent.
Okay.
Okay.
One quick additional question on that. So
Mhm.
will we lose those funds if we don't use them by the end of the year?
Yes.
So should we maybe add some time to talk about what, if anything, we can do with the remainder of the funds so that we don't lose it?
Yes, that's exactly what I want to propose.
Okay, sorry.
No, we're aligned. We are aligned. Thank you.
So we will be talking about that at the next meeting.
Yes,
Is that correct? Okay,
yes.
thank you.
All right, anything else that we need to consider to add to the agenda for next month? All right, we actually have a few minutes to spare. Does anybody have any announcements?
I had a question. I was just going back to the school opening next year and having a PA2. So isn't that what Miss Rhodes is? So we're gonna have that same position or an additional person?
So we have one, when we look at allotments, we look at positions and not people. So when we have one PA3, that's 12-month employee, and currently we're allotted for this school year, allotted one PA2 position, and the previous principal purchased a PA2, and so I'm following in that same trend and doing the same thing. Next school year, our budget only allotted for one PA2, and my zone superintendent, Mr. Ron Maxwell, approved the purchase of another PA2.
Oh, okay. Now I understand.
So
Thank you.
it's the same structure that we have as far as the allotment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any announcements for the council or any additional questions? All right, I would like to
I'm
request.
sorry, I do. I was looking at our calendar. I'm sorry. Parents, stakeholders, please don't forget that on February the 28th is a late start day. No, I'm sorry, it's not a late start day anymore. It's a early dismissal, which they
Yes.
will be out at 12:20 on Monday, February the 28th.
Mhm.
There's also a PTA meeting on tomorrow at 5:30. And that is all that I have right now.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I would like to request that a member move to adjourn the meeting.
This is Mr. O'Connell. I move that we adjourn the meeting.
All right, can I have someone second the move?
A
This is-
second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, all opposed?
Aye.
Oh, sorry. All opposed say no. right, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you all for your participation in the council. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
No problem. Thank you. Good night, everybody.